The problem is finding the energy to not pick up our phone in the midst of the chaos in between moments is just the easiest thing to do. See it as a form of decompression and just like lay down and look at our phone, right? But there was one day that I decided not to do that and it changed everything. I saw so many benefits from it that just were completely unexpected. So
Please just hang out with me for just a couple of minutes.
and I promise you that you will feel more empowered to try the thing that you've always wanted to try or the thing that you've always wished that you could do. I promise you, you are going to be able to do it. So here are 5 unexpected outcomes after finding a new hobby. But first, I want to thank Abercrombie for sponsoring today's video. Thank you so much, Abercrombie. And if you're new here, my name is Ash. Together, we're Brand by Brooke. So the first thing that happened when I decided to put my phone down and decided to learn how to crochet was a change in the dopamine hit that I get. So these social media platforms, as we know, they trigger a very quick dopamine hit, almost as if you're pulling the slot machine over and over and over again that we get addicted to. But once it's over, you really didn't accomplish anything at all. Yet you're constantly being pushed content of people that did create something, but then afterward, when you're done and you close your platform, what did you really do? And then even once you're done scrolling, there's just a huge drop and you're left feeling worse, comparing yourself to all these other creative people, but then reminding yourself that what do you have to offer? But with a hobby, it's a much slower buildup. You slowly get to see the fruits of your labor. And once it all comes to fruition, that dopamine hit lasts far longer than just video that made you laugh. So for example, after I had learned to crochet, just a couple of months later, I decided that I wanted to make something for my fiance. I wanted to make him a shirt and I wanted it to be his exact proportions. Again, without following any sort of instruction. And I had just picked up a crochet hook a matter of months prior. I didn't really think that I'd be able to do this, but for whatever reason, I was delusional enough to try. After spending 2 full weeks, spending all of my free time that I had every single Saturday and Sunday, just 2 full Saturday and Sundays, either side of the week, if we're just like picturing a calendar, right? And after work, every single day after I'd gone to the gym, walked my dog, made myself food, showered, like all, Maslow's hierarchy of needs, I would sit down the remaining hours that I had that night and I would try to crochet him the shirt. I would unravel and I would restart over and over and over again until it was a perfect length, a perfect width, and it met his proportion. What ended up happening was that I ended up creating something that far exceeded my expectations that I had initially set out to make. So it wasn't until 2 weeks later, it was a midnight, I think, it had finally been finished. I had woven in all of my ends. He was already upstairs getting ready for bed in sweatpants, and the shirt was finally finished. Even just looking at it before he'd even tried it on, it looked better than I could have ever imagined. Like, I did that. Now, the only test was him trying it on. Again, this is 2 weeks of my life, which in the grand scheme of things is actually nothing at all. He finally put it on, again wearing sweatpants, and it blew my mind. I had felt like I had just ran a marathon and I had set my own personal record. Like, the feeling that I had was completely indescribable, something like I had never felt ever before, or at least not for a very, very long time, because most of my free time had been consumed by social media. That when was the last time I had actually accomplished something that I had wanted to that capacity, right? Couldn't even sleep the rest of the night because I knew the next day we were going to go see his family. I wanted him to wear it and I wanted to see it in an actual outfit, not just like with sweatpants before bed, as we're all like. But all I'm trying to say is that the joy that I felt in that moment and having completed something that I never thought was even possible, having just picked up a crochet hook just mere months prior, is something that I will never forget. It far surpasses that feeling of like a 6-second video or from a week ago that I don't even remember. I remember that exact moment a year ago and the feeling that it made me feel. And it is something that I will remember for the rest of my life, to be honest. This could be applied to any other hobby too, right? Like, you decide to make a Facebook marketplace furniture flip, or deciding to make beats or write a song. Even just try, to run a marathon. I mean, you have to start somewhere. Maybe you first are able to run 3 miles, and that is a huge accomplishment. This is applicable in so many ways other than just crocheting. And if you're subconsciously chasing that dopamine hit,
You should chase the one that actually lasts.
the next reason is that it builds a new connection with others, one that you didn't actually expect. So again, I'll use that shirt as an example. After finishing that shirt that I made for my fiance, it was a very cool moment where he was impressed with me too, and I had made something for him with my own two bare hands, right? And it almost became a new love language of being able to make something for other people as a way to show that my affection for them, because I'm listening to things that they like and that they want, and I'm able to make something out of scratch. And I applied this to even my friendships too. I had a birthday party where I had all my friends over. I decided to surprise each one of them with a crocheted bikini top that was fitting for each of their vibes. So my friend Emma had a butter yellow top. My friend Rachel, hers was a light blue. Paige was black and Jill was red. And it just made sense. As soon as everyone opened up their surprise bikini top and looked at what they had opened, they're all like, yeah, this makes complete sense. And it was just a whole new way of connecting with them. Like, I was actually paying attention. Another example, I decided to make my cousin's daughter a calico kitty. I never know if people are actually gonna like these things, right? But one day I get a text message from my cousin. I guess each kid at her daughter's school, it's their own special day. They get to bring in their favorite toy or whatever and share it with the class. And she decided to bring in this Blanky Buddy, this calico cat that I made her, and tell everyone that it was her favorite stuffed animal. And to me, that was just a whole new joy that I had never felt before. And even someone that I had known from my childhood, from high school, she reached out and she asked if I could make a teddy bear for her son, which I did. A couple weeks go by, and after I gave it to her, she said, he's 5 years old and he had never taken any sort of attachment to any stuffed animal ever before, except with this teddy bear, he brings it everywhere with him. She cannot detach him from this teddy bear. He sleeps with it every single night. And to me, it blew my mind. I didn't know that it would be that meaningful to other people. Another example, I started posting about the crochet that I made on my Instagram page, right? I showed my first granny square that I ever made, and then I showing all the shirts that I made or the stuffed animals that I made, which in just months of posting my first granny square or posting that I had picked up a crochet hook. I remember someone telling me that they had started to crochet again after several years of not crocheting because I inspired them to try again. Or I inspired someone to try for the first time ever. And even if they didn't get it immediately, it was still the fact that, my own action, for whatever reason, decided to spark a new interest in someone else. And I thought that was really cool. And one more example, I decided to create an entirely new Instagram page as I figured, my high school friends, my college friends, random people that, follow me for me might not care about the things that I crochet, so let me just make an entirely new Instagram page for it. It's connected me to people all over the country, or all over the world for that matter. And new people are testing my pattern that I've never talked to before, or we're liking each other's posts and we're rooting for each other. It's just such a cool thing to be able to now connect with all these other like-minded people that I wouldn't have before. And as a woman in her late 20s, it's very hard building new connections. And I would really highly encourage that if you're looking to make new friends, start a hobby, go to that new yoga class, go to that running club, go to that pottery class. You are bound to find someone who just started within a couple of days or weeks that are also stepping out of their comfort zone to try something new. And together you're able to root each other on. You're able to hold each other accountable and talk about more than just what's going on in pop culture or politics or gossip about someone that you knew from high school that's making a YouTube channel, right? Like, the next and most important thing that I have found after just deciding to crochet was that I have found myself skill stacking. And I was recently watching a YouTube video where it said the best way to become a millionaire, and I know I'm just crocheting, so just bear with me for a second, but the best way to become a millionaire is by skill stacking. And what they mean by that is by once you learn one skill, you naturally start to snowball them and learn new things, right? But I want to walk you through that a little bit more because there's even more to it than just that, right? So it started with learning how to crochet, learning different stitches, learning how to make different shapes. Then because I learned how to crochet, I was like, I want to try embroidery. I know that I can learn how to crochet. Let me try to do embroidery. So I was scrolling through TikTok as I was kind of doom scrolling. I came across someone who makes embroidery kits. So everything was provided to me. I had all the thread, the needles, the hoop. I had a PDF document of the instructions, but there was also video tutorials too. And I was like, if I can't learn this, I must be stupid. It made it so easy to be able to learn. And I did. It's actually that one hanging up right there. And so I loved that design so much that I decided to, okay, cool. Like, if I can make that, then I can take the same design and I can put it on an old pair of jean shorts. They didn't fit me anymore. So I'm like, you know what? I actually want to sell these. Let me learn how to make an Etsy page, right? So now not only did I crochet, did I learn how to embroider, now I'm making an Etsy page. But the first thing that I ever sold on my Etsy page was those embroidered jean shorts. Because I learned to embroider, because I had learned to crochet, I was then able to start making some Etsy sales, which is just really crazy to think about. And I'm still relatively new on Etsy. I think I've sold close to 10 things at this point, but still, you have to start somewhere, and that was my first. I eventually got a sewing machine too. I started crocheting bags. Then I wanted to learn how to line them, and I got a sewing machine. I also bought some wooden handles on Amazon. I learned how to stitch the handles onto the bag. So I made a very, actually, let me go get it. So this is the bag that I had made, the wooden handles that I did. I also made a button clasp, and I also made a pocket. And because I learned to embroider, I decided to make my own tags. So it all just continued to spiral, right? Like it just kept expanding on one thing after the other because I would have one vision, and now I have leather handles, and I learned how to sew. It was very challenging, but I learned how to do that, and with buttons from my grandma's button box, again, connecting with other people. And now, like you see here, I'm making a YouTube page. I have to learn how to film on my iPhone, or now I have my first mic because I'm learning audio. I have to figure out how to color grade, and I'm still learning all of these things. But again, I don't think I would have even gotten to this point of making a YouTube channel if I didn't learn how to crochet a year and a half ago. That's what I'm trying to say. There are other things that I have learned along the way as well, but my message to you is like, let's say you saw someone on TikTok that's a wildlife photographer, right? And you're like, you know what, I would love to be able to do that. I could never do that. That person didn't just pop out of the womb just taking pictures of lions. That person probably just started taking pictures on their iPhone, figured out iPhone settings, also watched a couple of YouTube videos about what is 4K, what's frames per second, what is the best free software to how to edit photos, looked at Facebook Marketplace for maybe a cheap camera that someone was selling or a refurbished camera, and it just continues to grow. Let's use another example. Let's say you want to learn an instrument. There are so many things that come with that, right? You have to learn how to read music, you have to learn how to play your different chords, how to tune your instrument, how to clean your instrument. You know a friend that maybe knows how to sing. Together you're like, okay, let's do a cover of something. Now you have to figure out, how to record it, how to hook up your instrument or get the software on your computer to be able to do that. It seems like a lot, but it's a simple YouTube video to be able to just get your foot in the door. Looking back now, a year goes by after being committed to learning this, you might be playing at a local bar. You would have had to market yourself to be able to go play at a local bar, or maybe you've also now recorded a song that you're also now learning how to upload to Spotify. And it just continues to go from there. And now all of a sudden you're able to write music with this friend and make a band from it. And 3 years from now you're traveling or to go play at different venues. I mean, that's a big jump, right? Having never learned an instrument before to now going and touring and just go into it because you want to learn how to do something. And then because of the connections that you build with other people, the other things that you want to learn and the confidence that you gain because you already learned how to do an instrument, it just continues to build and build and build. And now all of a sudden you're monetizing this hobby that you just wanted to do out of sheer enjoyment to stop doom scrolling. That's the point. And so I already just alluded at this other unexpected outcome is the confidence that I have gained within myself and the identity that I have found or better established. I never knew I would be good at crocheting. I always saw people on my TikTok page that had made these really awesome shirts or bags or whatever, just thinking that they were absolute pros, that it was probably just would take years and years and years to figure out. That's not true. That's not always true. If you told me the version of me 2 years ago that even just a year from then I would have an Etsy shop, a YouTube channel, I'd be selling baby shower gifts to friends of friends of friends, like I like my reaction right now is literally what I would probably have done then, just like sheer shock and just laughter. Like, you're absolutely kidding. But what's funny is I am the happiest that I have ever been. And don't get me wrong, it's not a career at this moment. I keep referring to the things that I see on TikTok or other YouTube channels, and I've changed the lens in which I see social media. I used to see it as a form of comparison. Again, then you leave social media, you close your phone, and you feel like absolute because you have nothing to offer. But now I see it as a form of inspiration where, okay, they can do that. I wonder how long it took. All I have to do is watch a simple YouTube video to just get a foundational knowledge and maybe spend 10 minutes of my life to then open up an entirely new door for me, or many for that matter. Again, I see it as a form of inspiration to spark ideas. And now I have the confidence in myself that I could probably learn how to do that. Now that I've been able to crochet, I can figure that out too, whatever that may be. And don't get me wrong, like, it won't happen overnight. It definitely is a gradual process. Again, that dopamine hit lasts way longer. The dopamine that I had when I finished my first Granny Square, when I finished my first shirt, when then I made a shirt for him. Like, there's constant gratification that you get from it over time, and you're able to slowly see the fruits of your labor. Like, you are able to directly see the output of the energy that you put into something. Again, let's say you're a runner. One day you're at 1 mile. The next day you're at 2. By the end of the week, you're running 3 miles. And I don't know if it happens that quickly. I'm not much of a runner. But I'm just saying, like, you can gradually see your process. If you have an Apple Watch, you can directly see how much further of a distance you're able to go 1 week over the next. It's you have those visual clues to tell you that you're onto something and to keep going. The other part of the confidence and the individuality that I have gained is also just I have found who I am and what interests me, even just in terms of my own personal style. I am now making throw pillows and throw blankets for my house. I am making clothes for myself. I'm seeing what colors I'm constantly drawn to or styles I'm constantly drawn to. I got initially inspired through Pinterest or TikTok or whatever it is, but then my brain did the rest. All you have to do is just scratch that initial itch,
and the rest will happen naturally.
but again, I feel more myself than ever before because I tapped into that creative side that had gone untapped for so long. The message here is you are capable of more than you know. Just get started. Again, your brain will do the rest. And knowing how far I have come in such little time and how many skills I have gained because of initially just learning how to crochet gets me so excited for what else is to come in my life. I will continue expanding on these skills that I have gained. I had one skill that I gained and then it expanded into, 5, 6 other things. So now that I have all those other 6 things, I will continue building off of all of those. And what other doors will open for me, I don't know, but I'm so excited to find out. And I know that I'm capable of learning all these other things. The last unexpected benefit to me, crocheting has served as almost like a fidget spinner. I used to just sit at my desk and I would right here actually and just scrape at my face when I was just so stressed with work. And granted, I still do that sometimes because I can't always crochet and work at the same time and type and be on these meetings and lead them and whatever. But in those informal meetings where I'm just like talking to a coworker and we're just catching up or we're game planning for the week or something, I can knock out a couple of stitches. In a way, it helps me focus on that conversation even more because I am taking all that anxious energy and I am doing something with it, and it's almost mindless. Like I'll just do like row after row after row where I don't have to count stitches. If you're a crocheter, you get it. And it's weird because now my skin is better because I'm not sitting here constantly or even just watching TV, right? Or watching YouTube like I like to do. I'm not sitting there just like scraping at my face. I can actively watch TV and be crocheting at the same time, and I'm not using that that need for something in my hands and that anxiousness about the next workday or something, and I'm able to put it into something productive. And not every single hobby is one that's always tangible. You can't necessarily take photos and be watching TV or something, or to be taking photos and be working at the same time. Like I get that. But even, after work, if you're taking that energy, after a long day at work and you're deciding to go for a run, or you want to go paint, or it's so applicable to so many things beyond crocheting. How to make a granny square, what supplies I need and how much they cost and what to go look for at the craft store. And two, how doable is this? How easy is this to learn? Am I just going to buy these materials and then they're just going to sit in my house and take up space? So again, those are the unexpected benefits that I have found after just deciding to pick up a hobby. I just went into it just to pass the time, and it ended up having a complete change. It completely changed my life in ways that I did not expect at all, but I'm so grateful that it did. But I want to leave you with a couple of things. You have to reframe the way that you see learning. I think the way that when we hear learning, we're constantly put back into the school setting, having been forced to learn things that weren't that interesting to us. It seems like such a chore to learn, like such a challenge, a mental challenge to have to overcome. But I want you to see it as something fun. If you can learn your job that you don't enjoy that much, if you could learn world history in 6th grade, like if you could do all those things, you can learn how to paint. You can learn how to do pottery. You can learn how to run a marathon. You can learn how to cook. You can learn how to do photography. Whatever it is that is calling you, you can learn how to do it. And if you're able to spend that much time at work and use all of this energy on things that you don't enjoy, what would happen if you actually invested that same energy or applied that same approach to something that you have always wanted to learn? See it as something fun. Enjoy the ride. Don't just go into it because you want to, make money off of it. You want to be a National Geographic photographer, right? Like that's not what your goal should be. Your goal should be that you want to create, that you want to learn something new, that you have this creative itch. Do not go into it with that mindset, or else it will become a chore. You will be comparing yourself to the person that's being paid 6 figures doing the same thing, if not, 7 figures. Do it for the version of yourself a year from now, yourself 5 years from now. And my small talk at work is literally like,
wow, I can't believe we're already halfway through April.
Or by the time it's December and we're about to celebrate New Year's, this year went by so quickly. It did. Use the time after work to invest in yourself. I know it's sometimes hard. I know if you have kids or pets or you're a caretaker. Like it is very challenging, and I am very lucky to have a lot of the time that I do. But in many ways I also don't. There's a lot of other things going on in my life as well. To that I say, don't pressure yourself to have to use every single free moment that you have. Listen to your body. If you need to decompress, if you need to take a nap, if you need to go on a walk, if you need to do all these other things, do it. Don't make it feel like it's forced. But I will say, when you are just laying there and you are so bored and you don't know what to do with yourself, like that's when you should watch a YouTube video, get inspired, go on Pinterest. And if you're in that creative lull period and you don't even know where to start, go look up other creators, go get inspired, go look at Etsy for a pattern, or you will get yourself out of that creative lull. Or just start creating. If, like me, I have so much unused yarn in my closet right here. I won't even open it. It's such a disaster. But there's a lot of things that, like, I should probably use this yarn for something I don't really know what to make. Just start. Just start. Again, your brain will do the rest. Don't compare yourself to other people. Again, I just started to crochet in September of 2023. It is April 2025. That is a year and a half. And I have learned all of these things. I'm still learning so many things. I'm not a professional in any of these, but I have learned so much more than I would have if I had just continued using that free time to just sit on my phone. And you're already halfway there, right? Like you're sitting here today, you're spending time watching this YouTube video, and that's all I did to get started. All I did was go watch those YouTube videos. What do I need to be able to crochet? How to make a granny square? And by the end of the day, I had actually made something. So you're already there. You're already watching that YouTube video. You're already within this platform. The next video that I want you to go watch, if you like to crochet, I encourage you to go watch my video of what you need to crochet in 2025 that I will link here. Otherwise, definitely encourage you to go watch a video about, how to get started with the thing that you've always wanted to do. But thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you being here. Again, I can't even believe that I even have a YouTube channel at this point. Feel free to subscribe to this channel. Watch me grow over time. We will all be able to kind of see it together. I am rooting for you. I am cheering you on. Go into the comments and tell me what it is that you've always wanted to try, and I am going to be rooting for you. Even just by having a hobby, I want to connect with you. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you stick around, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye.